Okay, so I think we will now get going. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar. Really appreciate you all being here. My name is Jeff Philby. I'm a trainer here at Provek, and welcome to our webinar on AI and project management. And this is where we're going to dive right into the details of our brand new course, the AI Project Manager. So firstly, we're absolutely delighted to be the first UK provider to offer this course. And enrollment is open right now. So this is a very, very big day in our company. We're overwhelmed by the response of this webinar so far. There's 300 of you had signed up. Many of you I recognize from my own PMQ courses that I've taught. So it's good to see you and good to see you all again. We've got two individuals with us who designed, created, and launched this course, which has been formally accredited by the APMG. After the class, if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch. We won't have questions during the class just because of the time constraint and the number of people that we have on, but please feel free to get in touch with us. We'll be sending out an email that will have all the information you need, some additional information about Provek and the course as well, and a link that you can go to that will get you to the recording so you can see what we've talked about today. So to introduce our two individuals that we have, our two panelists, we've got Antonio Nieto Rodriguez, and we've got Ricardo Vargas. So welcome to both of you. And to get things going, I've got two questions just to kind of start things off. One, if you could tell us a little bit about your background. And the second thing I'd like to know is what inspired you to start your journey into AI project management? I'll start with Antonio. Hello, Antonio.
Thank you, Geoff, and thank you everyone for joining. So about me, I've been a project manager for 20, almost 30 years, and my passion has been always around elevating project management to the senior level, making strategic the competencies, and that's where I tried to influence through PMI, where I became the chairman in 2016. I worked with Ricardo on Brightline. And then this has been my focus, leading and teaching executives to learn about the value of project management. And to the second question is, I think it was obvious. We had to jump into AI sooner than later. And I had the opportunity to write an article for Harvard Business Review. I had spoken with Ricardo for many years to do things together. We are both very curious entrepreneur, and I thought this is a great opportunity to partner to develop something big, starting with that very well-perceived article, how AI is going to disrupt project management. So that's what it got us here. That was the seed, and things have been booming since then. We never thought there was going to be so much success and interest on what we're doing.
Excellent. Yeah, it certainly has taken off. I think as far as water coolers go, when you come to an office and you talk about something, I think AI is probably right up there with the weather, football. How was your weekend? I mean, it is on everyone's tongue. So the fact that you got in front of this early and started to develop a method in order to manage it, I think was basically looking into the future, and we're glad you did it. Ricardo, let's a little bit about your background and how did you end up in project management with AI? What was your journey?
Okay. Yeah, I am as Antonio. I pretty much project management is all my career. So I started with project management, and I was something like 24, 25, and since then I'm working with project management all the time in different areas, So I had the opportunity to apply. And what is my passion about project management is the nature of the transformation that projects are delivering. So you can apply in pretty much everything you do, and it's a great way to connect ideas to reality. And I was very fortunate to be able to apply this knowledge in so many different areas, because I was an entrepreneur, so I built my company, then I sold my company, then I used the same knowledge at the UN, the same knowledge at Brightline with Antonio. So it's a very inspiring professional, and I'm very happy that I chose this profession for my life. It's something that I really enjoy doing. And on AI, it's because I'm an engineer, and I love numbers. I love math. And I started with AI in 2012 when I start using some models. I started with Monte Carlo and the simulation, and
Right,
then I
for risk,
started
yeah.
doing machine learning on the top of that. And I published my first article in 2015. And then Antonio and I, we were talking about, okay, we need to do something together because we know each other for so many years. And then Antonio said, why not writing an article on AI? And honestly, I never thought that everything that happened in the past 2 years. And I think both of us, we were very sensitive on the time and the challenges to create things very fast because the nature of the transformation we are seeing in AI, it's, look, for the lack of a better word, is massive. If I could find a word that is even more than massive, I would use, because I think people are struggling to realize how transformative it is, and it will be, not in 20 years, but in maybe 2, maybe 3 years down the road. I love what you said. It's in the news together with the weather forecast, football and that. So it's really becoming mainstream, and I'm very happy also to have Provek as our partner in the UK. And for us, it's an honor, to
No, thank
partner
you.
with you. And it's something that brings us a lot of joy in growing what we are doing, because we don't have time anymore to do everything ourselves. So it's great to see that Provek found the value on this partnership. Thank you
Well,
for that.
we're very, very happy to be a part of it and very excited about what the journey is going to bring us. When I look at your backgrounds and talk to you, the things that you've done before with Harvard Business Reviews, Ricardo, you've worked with the UN Office for Project Services, taking care of refugees. You've been recipients of various awards, Thinkers 50 from 2017 from Antonio. Ricardo, you were the Brazilian Project Manager of the Decade. That is an extraordinary award. This well-rounded background, I think, put you in a really good position to know the problems that businesses face. Know that AI is not just a gimmick. It's not just a fix-all tool that you could use for anything, but it's a process that goes along with it. And you need to know the steps involved with it. You need to know what your outputs are. You need to know what you're aiming at. So I think the background that you have and the types of projects you have really put you in a unique position to build a great AI course and great AI tools. So let's turn our attention a little bit of an overview of where we are in the world today, just as a general discussion. We'll get into some of the details about the exam and the course and what that gives you, but let's just start off with a little bit more broad brush sort of topics. General overview of AI. And I'd like to talk a little bit about now what AI is doing at this very moment. When you read about AI, it can be really difficult to know, are they talking about tomorrow? Are they talking about 2 years from now, 20 years from now, or right now? So let's talk about right now. What can you use AI for? So let's say that I'm a PM. I'm fully versed in the skills needed to know AI tools. Maybe my organization hasn't been set up with all the data sets correctly yet. They're not what I would consider an AI shop. They're not using AI specifically through policies or processes, but you're a project manager, you're running a project. How could I use AI to make myself more efficient, better reporting, control my project better? What's available to a PM now if they had the right skills, such as the ones that we talk about on your course?
I can start and then Ricardo will. So I think it's funny because when we started this initiative, Ricardo, and we were calling how AI will disrupt project management. Today we talk how AI is disrupting project management. So it's today and it's going very fast. And I think for me, the way I see this, of course, the tools people need to sign up for the masterclass will practice everything, but definitely there's a lot of good news. Gartner said that around 80% of the task of a project manager, a PMO, 80% of the task will be done by AI by the end of this decade. So in 5 years, 80%. It's a bit ambitious, but it's not too far from what I've seen, and Ricardo as well, what we see. So definitely there's a lot of things that can be done. One last point, just to keep it short, is the good news is that if I would ask the 100 people that are in the call, write in the chat what you don't like to do in project management, what you don't like to do in your PMO, what you really hate to do. The good news is that today, a lot of AI can already do that, right? And that's, I think, a relief. I think we should be all looking at, okay, what do we do with the extra time? Let's bring this as soon as possible. So I think there's a big mindset, an opportunity mindset that we need to deliver here is let's get rid of all the boring tasks that we need to do in projects so that we can focus on the people side, on the team building, on the stakeholder management, on the value generation. So I'm super excited about what's going on and how fast it's going. Yeah, Ricardo.
Yeah, I will agree completely with Antonio, but I want just to say something on the, let me talk about now. First, it's all these mundane tasks pretty much you can do using AI now. I'm saying repetitive tasks. You can prepare reports. For example, you can throw the data, pretty much throw the data from a piece of paper like this one. You throw that and it will produce a super nice report in a matter of seconds. It can produce these type of meeting notes, basic risk register, basic risk analysis. And this is something that is in reality today, and it costs close to zero. Even if you have a ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude free account, you can pretty much do that. And now we are in a transition. Right now, we are in a transition. If I go back 6 months and take a journey up to now, AI is improving, I would say, what they call the thinking capability. So ChatGPT created that button you see on the bottom called Deep Research. And Google yesterday at the I/O conference released the Google Deep Research for Gemini. And this is what? It's recurring. So it's like an agent. It's a multi-path to find the solution, and then it gives you the ability to ask more complex things. And this is an evolution. For example, what I use today, mostly AI, I use to help me to give a thinking perspective about something. For example, I upload a risk register. For example, I upload some risk concepts and I start discussing, am I missing something? Am I not aware of something? And this is this next layer. Okay, I will stop here because probably you ask what is coming, so I will not.
That is the next thing.
But these are things you can do right now.
So right now, it's basically going to be helping us with mundane tasks will be done automatically so that we can be thinking about the vision of the project, driving the vision. It'll help us create templates, risk registers, scheduling, detailed designs. All of these things can be leveraged now. And I know these are things that are hit in the course. These are things that if you come away from the course, you'll have exposure to and have the ability to actually use.
Yeah, just to interrupt, there is one part of the course that is all about this tools that we go through. I would say what 10 every time we update that, but maybe 10 different tools to help you on this task.
Yeah, that was the wow factor when I took the test. When I took the course itself, is seeing all these tools in action, which anyone just joining the course, of course, is going to be able to see. But yeah, let's fast forward. Let's go 2 years from now. And so will AI be able, if I'm doing a building project and I've got a risk register, do you see it being able to check things like the weather? Do you see it maybe checking things like cost analysis and inflation, stock market perhaps? Could those things be tied into a risk register or a plan using AI? Do you think that might be on the horizon in the next 2 years?
Yeah, let me start here and then Antonio. Your question, you said maybe. I will just remove the may. I am absolutely, please record that. And please, everybody that is listening, I am absolutely sure that in 2 years, things like weather forecast and this will be completely embedded and integrated.
Yeah.
This is for sure. If the weather forecast will be precise or not, then it's something that I believe between us that weather forecast will have a leap improvement only when quantum computing becomes really effective. And this will take a little bit more. But in 2 years from now, what I see clearly is that things like weather forecast, for example, a tool like ChatGPT saying that, please don't do that work next week, reschedule it. And I'm rescheduling because next week we'll have, you know, a snowstorm or whatever. I think this will be absolutely a normal part of our ability to handle projects in 2 years. Okay, even maybe before that. Remember one thing, Jeff, the evolution is absolutely unbelievable. Just to give you an idea, OpenAI, Google, they are releasing new models, more and more powerful, pretty much every month. Not every year. We are talking about every month. So probably 6 months from now, we'll have models that will be incredibly more capable than the current ones. Like we saw, if we go back, Jeff, to ChatGPT 3, 3.5, you know, this is 1 year ago. And look how better today.
It's exponential, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Antonio, ball to you.
So I'm going to ask Antonio a question, actually, just around implementing an AI project. So let's put ourselves in the shoes of a project manager who's been called into the sponsor's office and they've been told, we want to get on board with AI. We've got data lying around everywhere. We want to use that data more intelligently. We want to use it in order to create content. We want to use it so that we get real-time data. Now, you've run those kind of transformation projects, and the course itself takes you through the steps as a PM on how to, what are your key steps involved, just like a linear life cycle has its steps, et cetera. So, Antonio, as someone who's run these kind of projects when you're doing sustainability transformation projects, et cetera, what advice would you have for a PM who's trying to take an organization and running projects where they're embedding AI? Your actual output would be better AI capabilities for your organization.
Oh, well, this is something that we cover also on the masterclass. Is basically some of us will be asked to lead AI projects. So there's two things that we cover in the masterclass. Understanding how AI can help you to do your projects better, more effectively, more successful. So that's the core part, and that's where we go into the tools. But then there's the angle that we also share where we talk about what if your company wants to set up their own GPTs or they want to introduce technology into their operations and AI, or even beyond that, robots. How is the project life cycle changing? How do you address an AI delivery project? These projects still fail even more, right? So the average of engineering projects is around 70%. AI projects even more because it's a new technology and people are not aware of the implications. So I think that's what we cover in the class, is both aspects. If you want to, one of the bigger challenge that I found when I was doing a machine learning algorithm for a company was the challenge of the data. I think I never thought that data was going to be so crucial, and I never thought that data was going to be so spread around organizations. It's just nobody really care about data. Maybe financial data, yes, some KPI data, performance data, but we need other type of data to build these models, and that's where you will need to spend more time than what we think. So there's advancement, there's new tools that will help you with synthetic data. You don't need to have a huge sample you can work. So there are things that we will share, you can share learn in the masterclass, but obviously it's a focus area that will determine the successful of your model. And there's other elements, but I would say if there's one thing, data. But data leads to other issues that we also need to face: privacy, bias, ethics. So these are also new components that come into the project manager. So these are all things that we try to address as much as possible because it's the new things that we need to care.
Excellent. Great. Well, that gives us a good overview of what
let me just add one point that is critical. Is also one thing that we talk a lot is speed. Speed is different on developing an AI project because things change so fast that if you lose that sprint or that time frame, maybe the value you will deliver with your AI product is done. because things are moving. So it's the type of development that we need to be very fast and produce an MVP and improve it and improve it and improve it. Because if you tell me, oh, I will do an AI project that is 1 year, maybe when it's ready, it's worthless because people don't use it.
Mm.
Seems like a good segue to get into the course itself. Let's examine that as a topic. So for the AI-driven project manager course, who would this course be for? Who would you think would be the right people to sign up for this course? Who did you design it for?
Anyone doing project management. Our view, Geoff, is that very, very soon, in order to get a job in project management, you need to show that you know how to use AI. Like today, they will ask you, can you do a schedule or can you do risk management? Yeah, can you use AI? So it's going to be, I think, if you're in the world of project, you want to make a career in project management, PMO, portfolio, program, I would say it's a mandatory thing for anyone who wants to work in this. Is imagine you say, okay, I don't know how to use Excel or MS Project. I would do my Gantt chart on paper, right? You will not have a job, right? So it is part of. I think that it's a bit broad, but I'm definitely convinced that this is going to be a must.
Mm. And the way that the course is set up, there's it gets you very much into, having taken it myself, the actual terminology, which can be very disorienting at first. Generative AI, predictive AI, all of these things are all spelled out very clearly in the course. Then the part that I really liked as a project manager was the bits where it showed what are the stages and the steps of running an AI project. And then the elements where you actually showed the tools and techniques so you could come away with some skills and some know-how on how to use these skills. As somebody signing up for the course, once the course is finished, what do you think they take away from it? What can they then use practically on the job that they wouldn't have had otherwise? And that can go out to Antonio or Ricardo.
Okay. So I think that they will go first. They will understand how big AI is, the role of AI in the project management. Second, they will learn several tools that are already available for them to use and improve. I would say that the topic of mundane and repetitive tasks and this. They will see, for example, in part 5, where I do some case studies, they will see some real applications that they can, in some ways, just mimic what we did in the course to improve and to understand to apply to their data. The second, we will discuss with a lot of them the ethical aspects in this I would say required knowledge on project managers, and they will be, I would say, more future proof. They will be more ready to understand that today the tools are these ones, but tomorrow the tools may be completely different. But if you know how to adapt yourself, you can do very well on that. It's all about adaptability.
Yeah, interesting. Excellent stuff. And also, there is another takeaway too, which is always a nice thing to have, is there's a certification involved as well, a formal cert with an exam as part of it. So if you pass the exam, you get the cert, the certification itself. So badge goes on your auto signature. It shows that you understand and can apply some of these items. Can you talk a little bit just quickly about the exam itself? So I know APMG wrote it, but you helped formulate the questions. What's the format of it, and what can learners expect from the actual exam, which will yield a formal accreditation that they can put on their CV and into their auto signature?
Ricardo, go. Yeah.
Okay. So it's 40 questions. Each question is a multiple choice question, A, B, C, and D, and one of them is right. And you need to have 24 right answers to get the certificate. The exam it's not impossible. It's an okay. It's an exam. Our passing rate for people attending the courses is about 80% of them, but it's not an exam that you just, I watched one YouTube video and let me do the exam, and probably you will not pass. Okay, so this is the intention, and the intention is not to transform you as a project manager in a technical AI person. So the concepts we ask you, like, for example, concepts around, for example, generative AI, or, for example, supervised and unsupervised learning. These are basic knowledge you need to know even to sit in front of a technical person in AI to discuss. So these type of basic concepts, and why we decided to partner with APMG, because we want something that gives the credibility to the credential. Because what is the problem? Antonio and I faced it many times, and this is why after doing the masterclass we decided the certification. It's because a lot of people talk about, oh, I'm doing AI, I know AI, and do they really know? So we created this process to make sure that there is an endorsement, because if you have no idea of what AI is, you will not be able to pass on the exam. So the exam assures you that you have, I would say, the knowledge that is required for a non AI technical person to lead and handle AI projects. So this was the underlining idea of the exam.
Interesting stuff. And 80% is a good number, I believe. I mean, that shows that you do have to study, you do have to have the background in it. It isn't something that you could go into Wikipedia and pass, but it isn't prohibitively difficult. You don't have to be massively technical. You have to kind of demonstrate that you have the knowledge and you could apply that knowledge. And we have all of the information on the exam available on our website. So provek.co.uk. I'll send this, we'll be sending this along at the after with the recording after the actual webinar itself. So we'll provide everyone on this call with this information, but we've got the format of the days. It's broken out. It's a nice course in that we've got 2 days, half days spread out. So it's not a complete cram of information, all trying to get it in one day and then an exam afterwards. You do have a little bit of time to work with the materials, to play with the tools, to simulate the actual knowledge itself. We've got a little link for the booking form. We've got courses that are happening basically monthly at this point in time. So they're public courses that you can sign up for. Or if your organization is looking to do this, Provek can come to your organization or run a course virtually and do it exactly for your own organization to fit your needs. So these are the logistics that are available. So we'll be sending this link out to those of you who are interested. That is almost all of the time that we've had. Boy, I knew it would fly by. I didn't think it was going to fly by at quite such a rate of knots. But just to leave everyone on the call with a little bit of wisdom from your own sort of background, if you had one lesson learned that you wanted to impart to somebody getting involved with AI projects, and I'll ask both of you this question, what lesson learned would you have to somebody who was yourself, if you're talking to yourself, just starting off on this journey, you go in a time machine, talk to Antonio, talk to Ricardo before you went into AI. What little piece of wisdom would you give to your younger version of yourself before jumping into AI?
I would tell me jump full on this opportunity. The power that you will get when you understand AI is not just the prompting. You can develop, you can code, you can add so much value to the projects that you deliver. I just love it, what's happening now. And so I would just encourage to even find the time to do more and learn more. I just don't have enough time. So yeah, that would be my advice to myself and to everyone. Just jump on this fully.
Ricardo.
And just to add, start now.
Start
just
now.
Don't wait. just don't wait.
Don't wait.
Tomorrow is already late. And when I say start now, it means that, because many people say, oh, let's wait for the buzz to decrease. Let's see if this will pick up or not. Look, don't do that. Even knowing that the tool is not perfect, use it now. Even knowing, oh, there's still hallucinations. Yeah, okay. People also have hallucinations. So don't be scared about using AI. And this, it will help you a lot to understand what is coming. So it's very important to start now.
Excellent advice from two individuals who wrote the course, wrote the book on it, lived it, delivered it, And if you go on our course, wait till you see what Ricardo can do with these tools. It will absolutely blow your mind, the things that are available to us as project managers. And I'm afraid that is all the time that we have. So I'd like to thank all of you for joining us today. Sorry we didn't have time for questions. It's just because of the brief format of the webinar itself. But any questions that you have, please feel free to get in touch with us. We will be sending them an email. We'll also be sending you the recording of this webinar. Thanks again for everyone's time. And Ricardo and Antonio, thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you all. Okay, all the best. And thanks for the partnership, Jeff. Okay, we're very happy with that. Antonio, see you.
See you, Ricardo.
Thank you, Jeff. Bye. Bye-bye.
See you at the next class. Take care. Cheers now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.